One person is dead and another is hurt after an early morning shooting behind a shopping center in South Nashville. Metro police say they were called to Bell Road and Murfreesboro Pike around 4 this morning for a reported shooting. And when they arrived, they found 2 people who were shot. One of the victims did not survive. The other person taken to the hospital is expected to be okay. Now, police say that they are reviewing surveillance video from nearby businesses to learn more about what possibly happened and a motive. The victim's name has not yet been released.